Welcome, Madridistas, to another episode of Let's Be Real. How's everyone doing? Maybe not so good since we're trying to preview another La Liga game, which is not going well for us, Farooq.
Yeah, man, my friend, I will tell you this, I kind of feel, it's I was actually listening to the pod, on Monday after the Betis game, and I'm kind of thinking I was thinking, the game finishes, I think around 3 a.m., 4 a.m. for Jacob, and I'm thinking like, imagine if Jacob had to go through all that shit and then had to sit down and record the podcast. I mean, that's there's levels to that, man, honestly. Like, I mean, that would be the highest level, I don't know, of considering the shit that we've been fed, for the past couple of games. I mean, that would be another level of BS, man, honestly. So, I mean, we can consider ourselves to be a bit, kind of
Yeah,
being that, we have somewhat made ourselves the preview gang, so it's kind of a easy letter for us, you don't get to, at least the point is from Sunday till now, whatever it is you're feeling, it has, kind of subsided, you're calm and collected, so there is that honesty. So yeah, man,
exactly.
it's a blessing in disguise. It's it's a two double-edged sword. There is two things to it actually.
Yeah, actually, I don't envy Sunil and the gang, whoever is making up for the post matches. And I love doing the previews as well because it's such a retrospective kind of for the past week of events, and then we can talk about it, really think on what happened during the game. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Then.
Actually,
Hmm.
yeah, that's the thing, man. It's and the funny thing was this actually. I watched the first 15 minutes of the Betis game. Yeah, I think it was the first 15 minutes, and then I slept off.
Wow.
Okay, but the point was that I wasn't expecting it to be a nil-nil draw. No,
Yeah,
honestly. So when I wake up to see that it was a nil-nil draw, I was like, nah, man. I mean, there were chances in that game. I mean, at least even for the first 20 minutes I saw, I know that there was chances on my side and on their side as well. So I mean, that was the least nil-nil I was expecting, honestly, when I woke up. So when I saw it was nil-nil, I knew, okay, then, shit's just hit the fan, to be honestly.
well, yeah, like
But one
the
thing actually, the thing is this. Oh, sorry, go on, please, go.
no man, Farooq, you go ahead. I was just saying that
Actually,
it was a bit of a sh shock to me as well. Like the first half was so lively, and then it's just like coming out of with just a draw was like really sucky. And then like Pellegrini after the game, he had the guts to say it was a nil-nil. It was a well-matched, uh, balanced match, but then Courtois had to make the harder saves. That like really sent me off the rails.
actually, but you know what, Jacob? Like, let's sit down and just look at this. The point is this: our last three games, like just forget about everything that happened beforehand. Our last three games was against Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and Real Betis, right?
Mhm.
Uh, Barcelona was in the cup. It was a 1-0 loss. Absolutely shitty game, honestly. We didn't create anything. But from the league perspective, we played Atletico Madrid and we played and Real Betis, right? If I'm not mistaken, like these are like at the time we played them, they were like fourth and fifth, I think. Atleti now,
Fifth,
I think, are
yep,
third.
yep.
So I think the point becomes is honestly like taking 2 points from that game honestly isn't a bad result. But then it starts to become a bad result when you put into perspective what's happened. The the loss to Valladolid. The loss to, I think, was it Mallorca as well. I think we also had a loss at Vallecano as well, Rayo Vallecano as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean,
Yep.
when you start to put those into perspective, you know, it now starts to look like a bad result in retrospective. You understand? But
Yep.
honestly, like when you sit down and as a sane person, evaluate this. Like, okay, like I am dropping points to the fourth and the fifth place team in the league, teams that are actively fighting for the Champions League. Honestly, it doesn't look like a bad result. But the point is, when you start to expand, you know, the picture, you start to look at the bigger picture. Then that retrospectively, it looks like, honestly, like we just shot the bed in all honesty, to be honest.
I mean, we've shat the bed on all counts. So usually in seasons past, what we can come to expect is that in these big games, at least, we expect Real Madrid to actually show up and get the result somehow, but then and always drop the points against the minnows. But this season it has been the opposite. Like we have kind of scraped through like with the wins against the minnows, but then these bigger games we have really struggled. Even Villarreal and all those draws that did happen.
But I mean, that's the point, actually. I actually think even in the game against the Minos, actually, we have struggled as well. Because I mean, that's
Mm,
the thing. Go to look at the games I talked about. The what's it called? Uh, the Rayo Vallecano's. The Rayo Valladolid. Those matches we've. I think even Mallorca. To some extent, like these are games that we've struggled in, honestly. So it doesn't bode very well for us. You understand? Like it's a struggle because I feel like in my opinion at least dropping points to the fourth and the fifth place team doesn't necessarily mean the end of the world. But the point now becomes when you put that into perspective and you see that okay, wow, these guys actually have lost to Mallorca. Like these guys have dropped points here and there. So it starts to it starts to be that. But I totally get what you're saying that the team mostly has been built for that big game, and we've always had that games where we've always had that patch where we had big games and we've always uh, won them. But yeah, I mean you're right as well, honestly. So it's just an upside down. I don't really know eventually what else to say anymore because
I mean,
I was asking
yeah.
for a change and we saw some changes and still it's still nothing, honestly. It's still nothing, absolutely nothing.
I mean, at this point, I would rather like someone put me in a coma just during these La Liga stretches and then bring me back alive during the Champions League. Oh,
But then let me tell you this, Jacob. Let me tell you this, Jacob. So Barcelona play Athletic Club, right?
hmm.
Okay, obviously we know Athletic Club is no longer Athletic Club, but it's going to the San Mames, man. Like it's not an easy task. After that, Barcelona faces Real Madrid. I know it's if I'm not mistaken, it's 9 points, right?
10, I think.
No, no, it's nine.
Oh,
It
oh,
was
it
10,
is.
we
Yeah,
drew, it became nine.
true, true, true. Okay, yeah,
So
nine
the point is
points.
this, like, honestly, like if Barca starts to drop points in those two games and we're able to get points. I mean, my stance in the fact that La Liga is
Yeah,
finished, you understand? But
yeah,
I think we might have an interesting race, honestly. Like these two, okay, after these two games, then I think I would say for definitiveness that okay, this is done. Because
yeah,
honest to God, like Barca's defense is outrageous, but I mean, I don't know because they lacked Lewandowski, but this Valencia game wasn't a game to, that covered Barca in any glory. Honestly, like those that the level of defense is is I don't know, man. I mean, this is Jose Mourinho 2005 2004, man.
really.
Honestly, that's the level of defense, and it's so funny that you look at this defense and it's fucking Marcos Alonso, man. It's fucking Eric Garcia, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, that just goes to show that yeah,
Exactly, like I
it's
was just
crazy, man.
ex
Honestly.
extending your point. So they say, "Oh shit, we have Mendy on the left back, so our defense is gonna be great." But it's not really about the personnel, isn't it? It's all about the system and then how opponents play into it.
Definitely, definitely. I think that we actually even mentioned about this before, It's not about like, even when you check when you check even, the greatest teams, with the attacking fullbacks, even beat Real Madrid in their pump with the likes of, Marcelo or Liverpool even at their pump with Trent Alexander. I mean, Liverpool one shit with Trent. No one is, they only talk about how shit Trent is when they lose. When they win, it's all like, oh, Trent is the best fullback, in Europe. You understand? So that's how it is. Like it's always been the system, It's always been the fact that you have midfielders who are gonna cover for you. After I
Yeah,
mean, we played Alonso and Sami Khedira, and these guys covered. They
yeah,
covered. Like Alonso might be a very technically astute player, but man, that man was also an athletic player, very very athletic player as well. You know, and the less said about Khedira, the better. Like everyone know what kind of player he was already. Like those guys were really really strong players. So similarly, like that's the thing. Like when no matter how even if you have weak defenders, it's all about the system. Honestly, it's all about people putting in those performances and covering their bases and all that. So yeah, man, it's just It's a weird season, honestly. I really don't know what to say anymore. But yeah,
Yeah, but
let's
the
stick it on Jacob.
yeah, there is Sunil in the comments saying Valencia was so shit in front of goal. They had so many chances as well. So maybe things are looking like on the upturn for us at least, if their defense continues to falter.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, Jacob. The thing is this: Barcelona's Marc-Andre ter Stegen is exceeding in expected goal conceded. I think around 4, 5, 6 goals, man.
Hmm.
Which means that he's literally pulling miracles out of hearts, man.
Yeah,
He's
just like
exceeding
Porto.
his expected goal conceded outrageously. That's why I told you, like, this is a historical level Barcelona defense, man. And
Yeah.
it's so sad that when you see the names, like these are not household names, man. Okay, I know Arao and Kunde, fine. No one can say shit about them. But I mean, even Jordi Alba at this age, man, he's no longer the Jordi Alba we used to know, man. But whether we like it or not, like I mean, as a Real Madrid fan, like it's not the best thing I want to say, but this is the truth, man. This is record level defending from Barcelona, man.
I'm pretty sure it
Wow,
set some kind
crazy,
of
crazy,
record.
man.
They have the lowest goals considered at this point in the last 2 decades, all I guess. It's like a really good defense.
I mean, I don't know how many goals they've considered, but let's check. I think it's 9 goals.
Yeah.
Just give me a sec. Let me quickly confirm that. Let me quickly confirm that. It's fucking 8 goals, bro. Fucking 8 goals, man. Oblak has the record, I think, with 14 goals conceded. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check
Wow.
the low. I think it's 14 from at 30. I think
Hmm.
Oblak has the record of the least goal conceded, which I think it's 14. I'm not sure about. Crazy, man. I mean, even Mourinho's 04-05 team conceded 15 league goals, man. Imagine they've conceded just 8. And put that into perspective that they conceded 3 against us, which means 5.
That is true. That
Which
does
means
not
these
leave
guys
enough
have
room.
conceded 5 goals in 23 games. 5 in 23 games.
Wow. That is
God,
something to dream about.
indeed, my friend, indeed.
Okay, enough salivating about Barcelona, man. Let's get back into reality. Let's get back into La Liga, and let's preview the game against Espanyol. So,
Now, I mean, the point is this: the point is, let's make the viewers familiar, like from where we are coming from. When if they hear me say shitty things like there's no need to play La Liga anymore and things like that, so they can know where we are coming from. They can get the facts and the basics right. That okay, we are in the midst of some kind of anomaly, and like we competing with this is I don't know, man. Anyways, I think it's best to discuss after the next 2 rounds of games, then we can have a more clear picture of what's happening.
of course. Well, so currently Espanyol are 13th in the league. They've had an up and down like last 5 games. So they've won one, and then the next game they lose one. It's very up and down for them. But then, like the main story, like heading into this game for Espanyol, has been the form of Martin Braithwaite. So he has
Oh,
7 goals, as much as Benzema at this point. I mean, and in 2023, he has more goals than Lewandowski. I mean, to be fair, Lewandowski did miss a few games, but then he is on absolute fire right now. And along with
wow.
their signing of Joselu from Alaves, I believe, yeah. Like
Yep, yep, Australia.
they have contributed to 78% of Espanyol's goals. So it's like insane right now for them. And this form has brought more. So right when it was January, they were like just languishing above the relegation zone, like just 1 point above. Right now they're 13th. So yeah, they're on a really uphill tick here. Does that bode well
Oh wow,
for
even
us, Farooq?
I mean, Jose, look, the thing is that you have this curse of former Real Madrid stars coming to haunt us always. And I'm actually seeing here like even Jose has 11 goals and Braithwaite has 8 goals.
Yep,
Our top school scorers have 11 and 7 goals respectively. So that's even interesting. Like their attack at least have players who are contributing at the level of our players as well, man. So it's really scary to play. But I'm not very sure. What I'm just gonna pose to you is that Espanyol, like, what's their style of players? Like, is it a 4-4-2? Is it a 4-5-1? Or like what? Like, how do they play with Osilo and Brightwood together? Because honestly, I haven't seen any of Espanyol this year, so I can't really say.
also when they do need a goal, so it kind of changes throughout the match from the highlights that I just saw. for the last 5 games. So when they do actually need a goal, they switch to a 4-4-2. Otherwise, it could be pretty much a two-winger system as well. But sometimes,
So they do similar to,
yeah,
yeah, go on,
similar
man.
to home. Yeah. I was just saying,
No, I mean,
it starting the match out, it might look like a traditional two-winger system, but then Braithwaite can play anywhere, man. He likes to drop deep as well.
yeah, that's what I was gonna point. Like, Barcelona as well. Like, Braithwaite was like, I don't know, like a striker come winger as well in a system where, like, he was playing with forwards as well, because we could remember, I think he played with even Aubameyang as well in the team, and he was like, Oba was through the middle and he was playing through the wing, which was a similar system, well, a system that looked like a 4-4-2 or a 4-5-1. I think even with Ferran Torres before Aubameyang came as well. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Even similarly at Denmark as well, he kind of plays, something similar actually as well, like more of like a false nine or like a false winger, you can say, something like that. This is gonna be very interesting. I'm just thinking, considering the physicality then that's gonna come from the wing, which is most likely gonna be my right wing. Yeah, who's gonna be our right wing then, if I'm not mistaken,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So we should expect Braithwaite to attack down Carvalho's wing as well then.
Yeah, man. And like speaking about like physicality, we're gonna be missing Rudiger as well, probably for this game because him and Karim Benzema they didn't train today.
Wow, interesting. What about Nacho though? Nacho is good to go.
Nacho's good to go, but yeah, I mean we really could have used Rudiger for this one. With these guys scoring for fun right now, Joselu and Braithwaite.
Okay, tell me, when was the time Rudiger removed the ball with his head? Just tell me, when was it? When was it? I mean, I
Um,
told you the other time, honestly, like the point is, it's not about your physicality, it's about how you interpret the game. And I give you the example again that people made fun of Martinez. We saw, you know, and we've seen how good Martinez can be, honestly, like even in aerial duels. So
yep,
that's the thing. Like, I mean, obviously Rudiger is a monster. Like, he's a physically dominating defender, and what is not. But the point is, it hasn't just clicked yet for him. Okay, yeah, credits, props. He's improving gradually. But the point is, man, like at the level he was performing, there was no way to go then up. I mean,
yep,
is he gonna open the next level of the down and just go into, unless he's gonna go to the bottom of the surface of the earth crust, then there is no down other than that. So the next level to go was up, honestly. It's not like, I mean, it's gonna seem like, okay, you're bashing again and what is not, and maybe you go to the game and you lose because of physicality. The point is that even when Rudiger was there, we were losing because of physicality. We were
yep,
conceding to corners and these. I mean, it's just two. I think it's just 2 game weeks ago that Atletico's defender primarily targeted Rudiger and Militao together, came, banged his head, and it was a goal straight down.
exactly. I mean,
So
yeah,
that's the thing. It's not. It's I totally get you. While I understand where you're coming from, as I said to you previously, I want to see something different. Play me Militao and Nacho together.
yeah, man, they are a really good pairing.
So
Like we've
that's the
seen
thing,
this time
honestly.
and
So
time again.
exactly, exactly. That's just it. And also, it also gives Rudiger a breather as well. It lets him take a step back,
Hmm.
see what's going on around him. And based on that, I hopefully he can calm down and relax as well and get back into business. But yeah, I mean it's a bit of a conundrum, honestly. I would say honestly, because when when someone on the side just listen, just a fan who is not a Real Madrid fan, just any random fan who is listening, it will be like, okay, like why is he saying that Nacho play ahead of Rudiger? Like why is he unhappy he's gonna play, uh such a physical side and he wants to play Nacho? But the thing is, honestly, like at least for me, like Rudiger hasn't been that guy. Rudiger hasn't been that guy really. But as I said, like with time, maybe he will come good. He will become better, and gradually, we're seeing he's building up a bit of something. But I mean, honestly, about the physicality team, I couldn't be
Does
bothered
it
less,
really
my
matter?
friend. Honestly, I couldn't be bothered less.
Yeah, totally understand. Oh, but wait, we have Ricardo Bingling in the comments spreading like little rays of hope for the upcoming El Clasico. He says that Barcelona are not that awesome. They can be beaten easily when pressed, and there's teamwork and when finishing is executed properly. Teams who play against them directly and without fear can easily rattle them.
In the league, I refuse to accept that. In Europe, yeah, maybe, but in the league, I mean, you wouldn't tell me that they've played 23 games and no one can rattle them. Other than, and why I say 23, I'm not saying 24 is that. In the 24th game, it was against us and we scored 3 goals. But
Yeah.
in 23 games, they conceded 5 goals. I'm sorry, I don't accept that. I don't accept that.
I mean, he's just pointing out to the fact that maybe before, like Barcelona were totally unbeatable, but then right now the defense is showing cracks, kind of like they like Farooq, you wouldn't believe like opponents hardly ever got like a shot away like on target like in most games in the early parts of the season. But right now, like they are at least getting through on goal, and it's just that there's a ball in front of goal in the form of Mats and Ter Stegen. So yeah, it is what it is.
Oh, okay, then I see your point. Then I mean, oh yeah, that's a valid point to make. I rest my case then.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be a hard time for most teams. Let's just hope, man, that we get our form up before we face Barcelona.
Oh, as I said, man, that's a whole different ball game. Let's discuss, at the end of the next, game week, or at the end of the next 2 game weeks, then we can,
Yeah.
have a uh more clear picture of what's happening, honestly, what's gonna happen around us. But yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. But I think I don't know, but I wonder like with Espanyol actually like what's their midfield looking like though? Like is it I know I remember like there used to be Dardar and Suarez. I remember Suarez,
Denis Suarez,
Barcelona's ex
Tata, yeah.
Suarez, and he went there. Yeah, and I used to remember, was it Sergio Dardar or something like that as well? There was that
Exactly.
guy as well.
Yeah, Sergi
I used
Tata,
to,
yeah, the physical guy.
yeah, exactly. So, just thinking about this, and I'm just trying to think, okay, now, like, if they have such a physical midfielder, he has just one job, which is to back up with their fullback and just, keep punching Vini and catching him and throwing him and, squaring up with him and,
Oh,
calling each other names. So
I
I
mean,
can,
speaking of
I can
which,
even see that before that.
nowadays, that they have a midfielder called Vinny as well, who's starting pretty much most of the games. So we might have two Vinnies on the pitch.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's
Oh, wow. Wow.
and that guy is pretty physical as well. So he has, I guess, one of the highest yellow cards for them. So he's at like 9 yellow cards right now.
Oh,
So
oh, wow. Okay. I mean, then there is a battle to watch, man. There is a battle to watch then. There is a battle to watch. But I don't know. Is it like he's Dardar as good as I remember him to be, though? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just making up the name in
no,
my mind,
it's just
honestly,
it's
because I
just
haven't
that
seen Espanyol this season.
no, I didn't notice anything special. But then every time that he's played against us, he has been a headache. Like he has been like personally made it his job to man mark Luka Modric.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, man. Like when all these guys play against Real Madrid, like it's always a it's always a special occasion for them. So they literally bring their A game and everything and what's there, especially when they come to Bernabeu, So it's usually much more intense. But yeah, man. I mean, Espanyol is a mid-table team, and I'm expecting similar teams that to what we've seen in the past. Low block, looking to exploit the counter. Real Madrid keep passing left, right, center. Benzema coming short. Vini, Benzema coming short. Rodrigo moving to the left.
Bro, there's no
Fede
Benzema
Valverde
to,
moving to the center.
bro. There's no not gonna be Benzema for this game. So it's like who's gonna be the striker?
I think Benzema is gonna play, man. I don't think Benzema is gonna be out because the point is the game is not till Saturday, man. So like there's a lot of time, man. Today's just Wednesday.
I
I
mean,
think
that
there's
is
a
true,
lot of
but
time
then,
to
like,
to
should we? Okay, yeah, this is one more discussion that's happening on Twitter. Like, since like La Liga is so out of reach, should we kind of rest Vini or Benzema?
and play who Hazard.
Hmm. And we
I mean,
don't even have
people
the,
seem to forget that we're 9 points behind Barcelona, but more importantly, we're 8 points ahead of Atletico. Eight,
yeah,
not even that nine. It's less than what. That's the thing. It's not like we have a squad depth where you can say, okay, play the B team. Honestly, like Mariano doesn't really give a shit about football anymore. I was reading
bro,
that
like,
Hazard says he doesn't want to go. He wants to complete his contract.
even Mariano didn't make it to training, so I'm not sure if he's match fit also.
So, so the thing
That's
is
it.
that it's easy to say, okay, don't play these guys, but who are you replacing them with? This is the question. Please tell me, who am I replacing Vinicius Junior with?
I mean, it's probably going to be Rodrigo or maybe even Asensio.
The point is like if I want to keep Vinicius Junior fresh, I want to keep Rodrigo fresh as well. I play Asensio, and then who? I take out Luka. I take out Benzema. I play Alvaro. You
Yeah,
know. Then who am I resting for? Who? From where?
I mean
It's not like the
that
options are there. Unfortunately, it's not like the options are there.
there is no options, but then the point is just that okay, maybe if we had a bit more fresher legs, we could maybe handle a really informed Liverpool team. Like if they are like going to turn up for the game against us in the Bernabeu. But then yeah,
Yo,
so
Jacob, chill, chill, chill. See, Liverpool are not in form. Don't deceive yourself about this.
I
The
mean,
point is this: if you had seen Liverpool's game beforehand, it was against Crystal Palace. You know me how I complain about watching football. I swear to God, that was the worst piece of football I have seen in 2023.
wow,
Liverpool
really?
versus Crystal Palace. It was the worst piece of football I have seen in 2023.
Farooq,
It was a nil-nil game.
Farooq, you almost fall asleep at our games. Like, how did you end up watching that game?
The point is, it was during the day. Our games are midnight. This is the problem.
Yeah.
So you're already, susceptible to sleeping. But it was during the game. It was during the day, and like I was watching outside with a couple of people.
Mm.
That was the worst piece of football I have seen. So in the space of 3 days, they aren't just gonna go from that to being the most informed team in Europe. Nah, the game against United was an anomaly, 100%. Anyone who watched the game knew could tell that the game against United was a pure anomaly. It was an exception rather than the norm. You understand? So
Mm.
I mean, okay, yeah, Liverpool scored seven, but that doesn't, for me at least personally, that did not change anything for me going into it. Okay, what's gonna happen? We're gonna see them at the weekend as well. Let's see what they show, what they offer. You understand? So now, like that doesn't change much in my opinion. So let's just wait to see what they continue to offer at the weekend and what is or what is not, and more importantly, how they turn up at the Bernabeu as well. So we're gonna see that. But just back to the issue there, honestly, Jacob, like.
Go to
I would
space.
love that because I already have considered the league. But the point is, who am I replacing whom with?
Exactly. And Sunil also says, like, beggars can't be choosers. We have to keep the big guns fit. But I don't know, man. Anyway, the game is just on Saturday. These guys are having a good rest. It might be a good time to get back into scoring form before facing Liverpool.
But I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Even if you could recall before the last two games, I told you like we needed the Betis and Espanyol game honestly to get back into some confidence. I was hoping the guys will remember how to score goals. Vini will remember how to dribble people. Without fighting them. But again, in the game, as I told you, like one thing is always maybe we should discuss about this later about the impact that Rodrigo will always have in this team, even though he missed the chance and he missed a good chance. But it is what it is. Chances are meant to be missed or taken. So the point is, if there is no chance at all, that's when you should be you should be disturbed. But at least when the chances are there, it's fine and good. But the thing is this, like going back to what you and I think Sunaid is also talking about to keep the big guns fit. How can you guarantee that even keeping them fit makes you win the stuff? And how can you keep these players fit when they're not playing games?
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
a point.
so I mean, okay, yeah, we can have, for example, instead of bringing Alvaro on for the last 10 minutes, maybe you can throw Alvaro on earlier, maybe you can go to the almighty Sergio Arribas that everyone is Sergio Arribas that everyone is talking about.
Yeah,
Throw the almighty man on and let's see if he's as good as everyone claims he is. That's the thing. Like maybe these are the options there, but the point is it's not like we have lots of options honestly out there. So the thing might be okay, like I don't know, play Dani Ceballos more if you actually wanna, you know, give I don't know Tony Kroos or Modric a rest. That's also another option. Like the point is Camavinga is so young, he wants to play every game already. Tchouaméni also wants to play every game already, and these guys have missed. I mean, Tchouaméni has missed quite a number of games as well. So he wants to build, that match fitness and match sharpness and come into form as well. This can be it.
yeah,
Throwing Asensio more, shift Rodrigo to the left, to give Vini the rest. These might be the options that are there. But other than that, honestly, I don't see any wholesale changes because we don't just have the personnel, unfortunately. We don't have the personnel.
yeah, man. That is the sad reality. I mean, did you hear about the rumor that Fiorentino Perez visited the dressing room, had a long talk with Carlo, and then he was pretty much asking the same things as you. He was like, play Ceballos more, play Asensio more instead of Luka, Modric, and Toni Kroos.
I don't know how true that is, honestly, but I mean, this is a very honestly, I don't know how true that is. I saw that
Yeah,
actually, but I didn't give a lot of attention to it because I kind of assumed that that seemed weird, honestly, especially the two names that have been, that have been name checked in Dani Ceballos and Marco Asensio. I can understand why the case of Dani Ceballos would be a curious one because the man literally came into form and all of a sudden he's totally out in the blue again. Why?
there is no explanation
Why?
like unless something happened in training. But
Why?
then I was even seeing the training videos and he was having fun training and whatnot. So not even sure what's
Yeah, I
happening.
mean that's the thing. Like that, I mean, there's not been any report or any rumor of a bust up or something like that. So
Yeah,
it's just Carlo doing Carlo things. Honestly, I can understand the call for that in Ceballos totally 100%. But Marco Asensio, I'm not too sure honestly because the thing is, Marco Asensio is not offering us what we don't have right now. We still don't. We need those people who are gonna hog the touchline.
yeah,
You understand? It's either you run the play through Rodrigo because he's the only person who can operate in tight spaces in between, Vinicius, Rodrigo, and Asensio. At least he's the one who's shown that he works best in tight spaces. He can literally, find a way out of that labyrinth or whatever it is. So I really don't see Asensio. I really don't see Asensio being the answer to our problems, honestly, because I mean, didn't Asensio play against Atletico as well?
he did. Yeah,
Asensio was there against Atletico because
yep,
Rodrigo was out. So yeah,
yep.
Asensio was there against Atletico, and we saw what happened. He all drifted through the center, and literally the right hand side was empty. There was literally no one to exploit that space. So yeah, I saw that as well. But I mean, I'm totally on. If that actually happened, I'm on Perez's side as well about Dani Ceballos. But for Asensio, nah, I'm not to that solo anymore, honestly.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, like one more like fun fact is that it's Fiorentino Perez's birthday today. So he's 76 years old.
Wow. Okay, I hope we can get to celebrate his birthday with a victory at the Bernabeu on Saturday.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Hopefully. Let's give that man some
Yeah,
peace
man.
so he can have like at least the last few good years at the Bernabeu. Or he might be immortal, like you never
Hopefully,
know.
man. Hopefully.
He's been here for a long time.
Exactly. That's the thing. He's been here for a long time, man. He's been here for a long time. You never can tell, honestly. You never can tell. You never can tell.
Yeah. Like okay, so where are you on camp, like Ancelotti in or out? Like do you think he has been given the squad to, actually do stuff, or it's like is it his fault that we are in this spot right now?
That's a loaded question, man. That's a loaded question. Like, I mean, the point is, if you're asking me, should they sack Ancelotti now? Definitely not.
No, no.
But as
I'm
I've
talking
said,
about
and
the
I will
end
always
of the
maintain, even
season.
when,
Yeah.
yeah, so the point is, even when we won the Champions League last year, I've always said it's like, okay, he's done enough to go next year. But if you ask me personally, I wouldn't continue with Carlo Ancelotti. Similarly, this year, irrespective of we losing or we winning, I wouldn't continue with Carlo Ancelotti because I just don't think that uh, he's not the person to lead, the young generation forward. This is my way of thinking because I feel like there's a difference between the players that there's a generational change.
Hmm.
There is a generational change in between the players that I think Carlo Ancelotti has coached in the past and the ones that he's working because that's why he works best with the likes of Luka Modric and Karim Benzema. You understand? I feel that's the why he keeps playing these guys because he sees the people that he sees his usual kind of people, uh, uh, in that in them, But I just feel like the end of the season, I personally would say Carlo should go. But that being said, it's not Carlo Ancelotti's fault that he has to play Lucas Vasquez as right back.
Yeah.
They didn't just provide for him. It's not Carlo Ancelotti's fault that he has to always play Fede Valverde as a right winger. They didn't provide for him. It's not Carlo Ancelotti's fault that his only option off the bench to replace Karim Benzema is 18-year-old A-Rod. You
Yeah.
understand? They didn't provide for him. So other than Carlo Ancelotti, we need to, take a deep look into, what's happening in the boardroom and isn't anyone actually seeing anything happening, isn't anyone actually realizing that there is a problem somewhere. And I still find it interesting that everyone keeps reporting that the primary target of Real Madrid this summer is Jude Bellingham, when that's literally the most talked part of the pitch.
Yep.
take even away Cruz and Modric, still take those two guys away, it still remains the most talked part of the pitch.
Yeah, it's
We
probably
literally
still one
have
of the
zero
best
right
midfields in the world.
wingers.
Yeah,
We literally have zero right wingers in the team. We have
yep,
just one left back. Okay, obviously maybe they're saying Frank Garcia is gonna come back or like thereof. But
yep,
we have one left back, one right back. Because we know Lucas Vasquez is not a right back.
yep,
We have one left back, one right back. Take away Cruz and Modric, we still have four midfielders who will get into a lot of teams. Okay, not all the teams, but a lot of teams. But you're
yep,
still neglecting finding that winger. You're neglecting finding those fullbacks. You're neglecting finding the soft strikers. You
yep.
understand? No matter how generational talent a player might be, we will get this player and we will sit here next year and still have the same discussions. And what's the point?
Hmm. I mean, that begs the question, look, okay, so I did see on Twitter that a few managerial names were thrown around in the form of Mikel Arteta. But then even if that guy comes and if we don't get signings, like I don't think like that can work wonders here. There is no way.
Nah, man. I mean, not Atita. Not Atita, man. Not Atita. Not Atita, nah.
Why are you so against him?
Man, I'm not against him, but like, I mean, Atita is still so young in his career, and like, I would say not Atita yet, man. Let's let
Hmm.
him enjoy what he's built at Arsenal first, and then
Yeah,
after we can discuss what is or what is not. But I mean, for now, I would say not Atita yet. Let's let him do his thing. I mean, if we have listeners from the previous year, everyone know how high I am on Mauricio Pochettino, honestly.
yeah.
Well, it seems for some reason the Poch's stock has dropped a lot, so I don't know if he will be considered for the Real Madrid job ever at this point in time.
Hmm.
But you never can tell, man. We have a German tactician on the market in Thomas Tuchel, man. So there is
No,
that,
that's true.
and
He's
I
just
feel
chilling
like
out there. Yeah,
that's something we need. And in my opinion, Thomas Tuchel is one of the best tacticians out there in the whole of Europe because
yeah,
I've seen what he had done at uh, at Bayern, sorry, at Dortmund, and what he's managed to do with the team, at what's it called at PSG. And I feel like him coming to Real Madrid would be the best option for him because the point is Tuchel doesn't like to work with administrative things. He
yeah,
doesn't like to delve into the administrative job. He just wants give me the players, let me coach them, and let's do our business on the pitch. You understand? And the point is whether people will admit to that or not. This is how Real Madrid operates.
yeah,
We have the board, we have the director of football, or I don't know, someone that's a link between the two. And we just have a coach who deals with his players, and there is no politics for him to deal with.
yeah,
You understand? And the players, no one is gonna go. It's not gonna be a situation of Neymar going and reporting this person to the owner or something like that. That's not gonna happen at Real Madrid. You understand? So that's why I feel like he might be a good fit. And let's come to it honestly. Like they say, like Tuchel is a disciplinarian and all that. The cabal no longer exists at Real Madrid. There is no longer Sergio Ramos. There is no longer Cristiano. There is no longer Casemiro. The
yeah,
cabal literally doesn't exist anymore. The cabal right now is Luka Modric, Cruz, Benzema, Nacho. That's the cabal right now.
yeah,
And most likely, as if the rumors are to be true, Nacho would leave. And as things are looking right now, I don't know what's going to happen with Kroos or Modric, but I don't know if both of them continues next year. You understand? So it's prime time to bring someone that can stamp his authority on the team.
exactly.
So I mean, there are people out there. There are people out there. There are people out there, honestly. But yeah,
Oh yeah, we do have a couple of comments. So yes, Scott
yeah, yeah.
Hyman says that like we were discussing about Jude Bellingham coming, but then he is saying I can't see Jude come to Real because his family wants him to sign for Liverpool.
Valid, man. I mean, the thing is, I actually do personally feel like people are sleeping on Man City in this deal. Honestly, I
Mm,
genuinely do think people are sleeping on Manchester City in this deal. Honestly, especially considering the goodwill they have created with Dortmund in the what's it called in the Erling Haaland deal. But I do feel like people are sleeping on Man City a lot in this deal because I feel like they will try to pitch to Bellingham as well. And I think they might have a very strong hand in the sense that he can come and see the team and and what is and what is not. So it's a team that he will come and fight, have a spot directly, improve the team. Rekindle with his mates Bellingham as well. So sorry, his mate in what's it called in Haaland.
mhm.
So it's going to be a young core. With him and and Phil Foden. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's 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 an interesting option to see, honestly. But I wouldn't totally believe that it's Liverpool or Real Madrid. I think there's always a third option in Man City in this equation as well.
And he would do really well at Man City, man. Like I would love to see that team.
I mean, the point is at this point in time, like as long as Pep doesn't do his jack shit, like that team is no easy. A player like Jude Bellingham will more than thrive in that team, man. Much more than thrive.
Yeah. Oh, and we have Dennis the Great also saying, "Man, I have work on Saturday at 11 in the morning till 6 p.m. I better not come back and see that we haven't won the game." You and everyone, brother.
Dennis, we are all Dennises here, Dennis. Every single person here is Dennis. Every single one person here is Dennis, honestly. Like, I also do hope, honestly. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, just let's start scoring goals, honestly. Let's score goals, please. Please and please, let's score goals. And when I say let's score goals, not one, two goals, man. I want three, four, five. I mean, this might be wishful thinking, but please, let's score goals.
I mean,
Please.
we can score
That's
five
the thing.
against
Like,
Al Hilal, yeah, but not against La Liga teams, man. No.
I don't know, man. I mean, we need to start scoring goals, yeah, Jacob. We need to start scoring goals, honestly. Like, we need to find a way to start scoring goals. Really, that's the thing. And like, we shouldn't be scoring. I'm at this point. We need such a morale booster that one, two goals wouldn't be enough. We need to
Hmm.
score quite a number of goals. Honestly, we need to score quite a number of goals. So I do hope for our sake and for Denis's sake, we do eventually get the job done and have a couple of goals here and there as well.
Hmm. Okay then. I mean, we've been rambling for a while. Like before we like get into the lineups, I do have like one like outside opportunity for us to like talk about. So, like, did you hear the rumors about not just the rumors, like, there was an article published. It talks about the refereeing thing, the scandal that Barcelona is involved in. So, apparently, that referee, the president of the whatever association that is, he offered himself to Barca after being fired, and then he said, "I can help you with the VAR." And in 2020, when La Liga was won by Madrid with like a bit of controversy over the VAR situation, he told the
Yep,
Barcelona board, "You would have done better with me." So yeah, those are
yep.
actual quotes from him. So do you think like is there an outside opportunity of them losing points or getting a deduction and then suddenly we're at the top again because of all of these controversies?
I genuinely don't think so, actually.
Hmm.
I don't think so. I think most likely what happens is, it's a criminal proceeding about corruption, but I don't think. I mean, also it depends on, because I don't know, it just feels like it keeps coming out, bit by bit, in piece by piece. So maybe
Yeah,
when we have the whole picture of everything, maybe then that in that procedure you can have a comment to make. But about the league, I really don't think so, and I personally don't want to win the league in such circumstances, honestly. That's the thing. Like, I don't want to win the league. I mean, yeah, obviously we are. I mean, I personally, obviously, like, I mean, other fans will might beg to differ, but I wouldn't want to win the league based on things that happen off the field and what is not. And I just feel like uh, honestly, like we all have our claims about referees and what is not. But this whole Barcelona thing actually is not really good. Actually, it kind of creates a bad reputation for the referee and the refereeing association. Honestly, like, and I mean, these people are just honest people who just try to earn a buck. Like, I mean, compared to footballers, they earn literally peanuts. Honestly, they
yeah,
work their day jobs and they're referees, at the weekends and what not. So this is really really bad on them, honestly. So yeah, I'm not too happy with the whole situation because it kind of creates a doubt about the integrity of the whole team. Really, it creates a huge
yeah,
doubt
man.
about the integrity of
It,
the whole team. But
yeah,
this is
like
just down to
honest,
one man, man. It's just
on
about a single person.
exactly, and it that thing happened in 2020 when we also won the league, and then this controversy happened before that. So I don't even mind now, like because if this does come out and then if the league makes a whole big thing about it, like that will damage the reputation of La Liga and then like that will be like really bad for it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, man. Even forget about the damaging the reputation of La Liga. I mean, the point is gonna be this, like, every single tight decision. I mean, obviously, imagine how much we scrutinize every single tight decision, and then come to imagine that, oh, it's been proven that someone paid someone to favor someone. Imagine how much that crazy that would be. It would just be like, oh yeah, it's a rich man's, sport. Like if you have the money, you can pay the referees and they can sway this, 50-50 calls in your favor. So like I mean, we already have enough doubt in our minds already. So let's, let's not increase that. Let's let the doubt not creep in too much, honestly. But yeah, it's a shame, really. As I said, it's it's a big shame. But yeah, man,
Yeah,
I really do. I really let's wait to see how it eventually pans out. That way, we would have a more clearer picture of what it looks like. But I personally really don't want to win the league in such circumstances.
exactly. Yeah, but let's see as the saga like unfolds if we get more information, and we'll keep you guys posted on that. So, like, do you have anything else to discuss, or should we go into the lineups?
Do we have any other? Do we have any other extra Madrid player there except for?
I think Pacheco is their goalkeeper, so he is definitely ex-Real.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Fernando Pacheco. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. He's an, but I mean, he can score against us, or he can just, become, I don't know, he can become Gandalf and be thou shalt not pass. Maybe that can be. Other
Oh,
than
wow.
that, I don't, I mean, because we have Joselu already, Jose Maria Joselu is there, so he's a threat on his own, and he has 11 goals this season. I mean, that's the thing about Joselu, honestly. Like he's always been. He's not going to be the highest scorer, but he's going to be that consistent, goal scorer for your team, honestly. So yeah, kudos to him, honestly. Kudos to him.
Yeah, man. Those two guys have been amazing signings, and they came on a free. So Braithwaite came on a free as well. Jose Lu too from Alaves. Such a
Yeah, so
good
I
thing
think
for them.
where did this guy go to? RGT, Raul de Tomos?
He shifted to Rayo, right, and then from Rayo to he went out. So yeah, the manager was also like really complaining to the sporting director, like in Espanyol. Diego Martinez is the manager.
Yeah.
He was like, "You didn't give me any January signings, and then even you see up and down games, why do you come and criticize me?" He said that pretty publicly in front of the players. So yeah, that's been also going on there.
I mean, that's it, man. Like you can just, you can just honestly like give a man. I mean, you should expect based on what uh what you've given him, you should set your targets, accordingly as well. But the point is, when you have a good manager who gets one, two teams, right? Everyone just, piles up on them and like, oh, we want more, we want more. If you want more, you have to give more. This is the thing we've seen in football, and football is a rich man's game. Unfortunately, this is the truth for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Football is a rich man's game. Like it's always going to be that. We've seen that even yesterday, like with Dortmund Chelsea game. I
Mhm.
mean, honestly, like okay, Dortmund might have been good and what is not, but no matter even as shitty as Chelsea were, they were still the favorites to go through. You know, Dortmund had not lost a single game in the whole year,
Yeah.
but Chelsea, the only reason they're favorites is because they're a rich team. The money they have, the quality they have in the squad, which is all about money. So whether you like it or not, football these days it's all about money talks. There is no team, even people would like to say Arsenal didn't do that. No, man. Arsenal bought a 20 million reserve goalkeeper when they had Berlino there, man.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, like which Spanish team can do this? Do you understand? So they paid money for every single thing. So that's the thing. So it's not like you come and say uh, do this and do that. Nah, in this world, it's all about money. If you've got the money, you do good things. We've seen Newcastle. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
you got money, you do good things.
Yeah, but okay, so one interesting thing that happened this week was like Espanyol released their English account. So, are you familiar with the Cadiz English account? Have you seen it before?
Mm, actually, because I don't use Twitter, I don't know if
You should get on there, man.
I've
Like the
come across
Cadiz
it.
English Twitter is very, very fun. They post memes all the time. Even when they're facing like Barcelona or Real Madrid, they like find a way to somehow troll the team. And then it has a pretty large following, especially in India. People are like, this is the only La
Hmm.
Liga team that they actually follow on Twitter.
Wow, wow. All
Yeah,
right, then
so
we will hop on that and then see that out.
yeah, hopefully, like, yeah, just speaking to the money situation, like, this is one way where you can earn more money eventually and then get more fans internationally. This is gonna help.
I mean, you think so, though? I mean, you can about brand exposure, yeah, fine and good, but I personally think that. that money will has to come from either an investor, a billionaire, you selling something, you getting some
Yeah.
sort of investment here and there. It's not gonna be easy, honestly. I mean, the point is the only reason, like, these guys are as much, famous as they are is because in every single game that okay, not every single game, but in 90% of the games that English, oppositions go into, they're the favorites. And the only reason it's about the money, it's not about the exposure. It's so, but I totally get what you're saying, for teams like Cadiz, like, that sort of, exposure for them, it means a lot, honestly. And, even the millions it fetches means a lot to them. But, what I'm just saying is that compared to what it looks like, for a team like Real Madrid or for a team like, I don't know, Manchester United, it doesn't compare. It doesn't compare, honestly.
It never will. Wait, do we have any oil club in La Liga yet? No, right?
We used to have Malaga once upon a time.
Uh,
We used to have Malaga, with the when Isco was there. Isco, Carlos Canemi. They had I can't remember the name of the players there. I think even they had Ruud van Nistelrooy for one season or something like that. So like yeah,
yeah,
we had one all money. I don't know, maybe we have others as well. I'm not sure honestly.
yep, yeah.
But yeah, even they went to the quarterfinals of the Champions League in 2013 when Bayern
Mm.
Munich eventually won the title. And they were
So yeah.
eliminated by Dortmund.
Oh yeah, man, I remember that. That was a crazy time. So yeah, exactly like you said, like money talks in football, even at that time.
Exactly, exactly, yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get into the lineups then finally. So yeah, for the absentees for this upcoming game is might be we're still not sure because the game is still a bit far away. It's just that these guys have missed training. It's Rudy, Benz, and Mariano out for now. And then people are saying that Mendy could be back this week, but then he might not actually play against Espanyol.
Okay, okay. I mean that's not bad. Mendy should be back. Fine, fine and good, fine and good. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to sound so negative, but Mendy being back is a good thing, honestly. But that doesn't even begin to solve our problem,
Yeah,
because our problem has never been that. The problem has always been, we don't have that attacking output from anybody, at this point in time. We don't have that offensive team. And I've said it like Mendy for me, he is the best defensive fullback in the whole of Europe. Well, at this point, am I looking for that defensive fullback? No, right now I need someone like Marcelo in my team.
yeah,
That's the person I'm looking for right now. Obviously that's a very high bar. I'm looking for something almost impossible. But I mean, just to give a perspective of what we're looking at, so we're looking for someone like this. But yeah, man, like Mendy being back is good because at least that allows for players being deployed in the right position instead and that calls for the end of the whole Kamavinga experiment. So at least so we're gonna have a bit of solidity there as well, and the back line will start to take shape when you have a continuity, and consistency in the members of the back four, so that way they can build a rapport and eventually, very gradually, we can build a backbone of the team. Hopefully, as the season progresses.
yeah. I mean, with Mendy this season, he hasn't been that rock solid defensively as well. He has had lapses. He has lost the ball. It's not the Mendy that we've seen of past seasons, I would say. He's still very good. It's just that
Yeah.
he has dropped a level or two.
Yeah, that's true, Joe. Before he got injured, that's true. That's true. You're totally right about this. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just a Mendy thing, man. It's a whole. It's the total team as a whole. Even Alaba has, levels has dropped quite, a lot.
So
Even I mean, let's not even mention like the like of Luka Modric. Like Modric was flying at the beginning of the season, but now his levels has dropped a lot.
yeah,
Benzema prime figure as also. It's not just that it's been a whole performance. Even Dani Carvajal. I mean, but then Dani Carvajal always blows hot and cold, so
yeah.
there's uh there's always been the jury out has always been that. But yeah, it is what it is, man. That's the thing right now. I don't really, care about how it happens. We just have one goal, which is to get back in the goals. We
Okay,
have to get
so
back in the goals ASAP.
on that note, let's start with the lineups for the forward line. So, assuming that Benz is not there, like, what's your front three gonna look like?
Switch off the TV, go home and sleep.
Ah, I
Switch off the
mean,
TV, go home and sleep.
come on, Farooq, like show
I
some
mean,
excitement. Like
if you
this
want me
can
to
be
give, if
in.
you want me to give me, if you want me to give you something, fine, I will give you something. A-Rod and Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo. That's just it. There is nothing else.
Okay, like if you could switch to any other formation, let's say even a 4-4-2 could work. That is something that we haven't tried a lot or at all. Would you start both Rodrigo and A-Rod on the center, Vinny and Asensio on the wings?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. That's something. Honestly, that's food for thought, honestly. But it sounds so, fantasy footballish. I don't know.
It does, it does.
It does sound so fantasy footballish, honestly. But but let me give you this, right? Let me give you this. If I'm gonna play a midfield of, let's say, Camavinga and Fede Valverde, I will be comfortable with this. I'm thinking, at least. Well, I'm just looking, like, honestly, like, it's still gonna play out to be a 4-5-1 formation. You know why I say so? Because eventually what's gonna happen is that Asensio Rodrigo will start to occupy central spaces. Where
Yeah,
Asensio occupies central spaces, Rodrigo will be out on the wing. Aero will be up top. So it's just going to be like two holding midfielders in wherever the two midfielders are, and it's going to be three attackers and one striker. So that's why I just feel like the tendency, like this positional play of the players, like it's by default. Asensio will always drift to the center, and
yeah.
Rodrigo will always drift to the left. You understand? So because of that, it's gonna still go back to that formation. So yeah, I mean, why not? If it takes getting all the attackers on the pitch to score goals, fine. But at this point, honestly, man, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't still go with that 4-4-2 formation. I would still, play it safe and go with the 4-3-3 and just, play Aero, Rodrigo, and Vini Jr.
So man, like I was just trying to picture that scenario, but then yeah, it doesn't seem realistic at all.
Fantasy football, my friend. Fantasy football.
Cool. So yeah, what about the midfield? Like, so we know it's gonna be probably a 4-3-3, three midfielders. Would you? Okay, so who would you drop for this game if one of the big players have to drop? Toni Kroos or Luka Modric?
Can I drop all three of them? Cruz, Modric, Tchouaméni?
Even Many. Why Many, bro?
All three of them. Like, why do I need to play Tchouaméni? Why? I mean, all three of them. That's the thing. Then it's not working, so just break it.
Mm.
It's not working, just break it, honestly. Fede, Camavinga, and Dani Ceballos. That's the team. Let's see. Let's
Yeah,
see.
but
All three of them out.
and they're very physical. Like I'm pretty sure we will probably like need that against Espanyol. Let's see.
I mean, the point is, it's obvious that it's not working for all three of them because I'm sorry, but Jacob, would you actually beat your hand to your chest and be like, oh, Chouameni has been really good after the World Cup? No, he hasn't. He's been injured. He's been back in the team and he's literally performed jack shit.
Even Ancelotti did admit that he's been saying like Many is not at the levels that he was before the World Cup.
That's the thing. Like when he came, I said the money was too much. He played, I said he played really good. He went to the World Cup, he was good with France, but he's been back and since that World Cup fatigue hasn't been gone. And I've seen
Yeah.
the games I have seen, like I mean, I am not satisfied. So if that's the case, let's blow it all up. Play Kama as a six and play Fede and Dennis Ceballos. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
The point is,
especially
it's not working.
that
It's
I mean, even when it was working, when Kamavinga did play that six, we were all asking for like maybe we shouldn't rush Many into the team, like just have him as like fight him. I mean, we should let Many fight out the role for the number six position with Kamavinga because Kamavinga at one point was performing so good.
yeah, but actually, Jacob, one thing we have seen is that Kamavinga, the six, is not the best utilization of Kamavinga, you understand? So that's why, like, it's still, as a de facto six, we still just have, Oliver Chouameni, and we have no choice about that. But I'm not advocating for Kama to be a six, or something. I'm just saying, like, for this game, It's at the Bernabeu. It's Espanyol, so most likely it's going to be a low block, and there's going to be a most likely of counter the ball over the top and something like this. So we can use that a little bit of more aggression in the middle of the park. With Camavinga, but more importantly, it just hasn't worked with all these midfielders. It just hasn't. Cruz, Modric, and
Okay.
Tranmere. It just hasn't. So I feel like the only option is, I mean, the player who is undroppable in the whole team is Fede already. I mean, even I don't know. Okay, Fede already, Vini, Benzema, what's he called, and Courtois maybe like, but Fede is undroppable. That's the thing, whether you like it or not. Like that athleticism that he brings is one. It's generational. It's one in a generation. There is
Yeah.
nothing you can do about that. So that's the thing. Like, just break the whole sheet off, man. Just throw something else. Like throw a curveball. Let's see, like Dino Ceballos, Fede with Camavinga anchoring them. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I totally agree. We need a change. Let's see if Carlo thinks the same and he does try out a whole entirely new midfield. But yeah, let's see. Like
Nah, man. Wake up from your dream, man. That's not gonna happen.
I still feel like we could have Tony Kroos on the team at least to start out the match because he's gonna like provide something against the low block. We don't need him to basically track back way too much in this game. So Tony Kroos like should probably start.
But actually, the problem I have is that when Tony Cruz starts in the absence of Tchouaméni, he always plays as the six,
Hmm.
which is something that I don't know why they still do, but it's not been the most successful, it's not been the most successful, tests, or I don't know, the most successful positioning of Tony Kroos. But yeah, I mean, that could be something. But I mean, for me, I'm just looking for, the nuclear option, man. Just blow everything up and just, have a change and see something different in there. But yeah, you might be right as well. Maybe, uh, the that ability, that line breaking pass that Tony Cruz offers might be something as well. But yeah, man, I don't know. I really don't know.
Only time will tell, and especially like with all the training and shit going on, let's see who starts in training in the coming weeks.
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Um, like right, let's head into the back four.
Yeah, I mean, now the back four becomes a headache because as you're saying that Rudiger might be out or like thereof, so it's quite interesting to see what happens, for the fullback positions, especially if uh based on what I was saying of blowing up the midfield, which means Kamavinga is no longer available to play as a left back, so
Mm,
if Rudiger actually also is indeed out, then we need to find someone to fill the cen- fill the center back position, which will be Nacho, and because we know Carval is going to play on the other side as well,
yeah,
so it's going to be Carval, Nacho, Militao, and we need one more player. So that's the question: who's going to be that player right now?
I mean, I think Carlos still gonna start Camavinga.
As a
Mm,
left back,
yeah,
mm. Well, there is that as well, but because of that, because of what I want in the midfield, honestly, I would pray that Rudiger is back, not because he's been instilling me with confidence or anything, but because I just want to see that total change in shape in the middle of the park. But based on what I'm thinking, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening, honestly. But yeah,
oh
man.
man, yeah.
Let's see. I mean, most likely it's gonna be, as you said, then Kroos in the middle of the pitch alongside these guys, and it's gonna be Nacho, Militao for CB pairing, and Danny Carval, and most likely Kamavinga for the fullback pairings as well.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be the case. And of course, Courtois gonna start. Oh man.
Yeah, that's the easiest decision, man. That's the easiest decision.
Okay, like okay, the past few games, of course, like Courtois had like nothing to do on basically like one or two of the goals that we conceded. But do you think he has been like in his superhuman form that we saw of last year, or has he maybe let up a few goals?
I wouldn't say he has. I wouldn't say he has reached that superhuman because I mean he was superhuman last year, which was apexed by the Champions League final performance. So I
Yeah,
think like I wouldn't say he has reached that levels yet, but he's still being, bailing us out on almost a weekly basis as well.
yeah. I mean, this
I
season the
think that's
only
that's that's
yeah the only bad part that I remember for Courtois season is the horrible like back pass that led to a goal. Who was it to? Uh, was it in the Super Cup? I'm not really sure anymore.
I can't recall the one you're
Oh,
talking about, but I mean,
oh, yeah,
don't
yeah,
forget don't forget it's
the one in the Liverpool game as well. Yeah.
exactly the Champions
Uh,
League game is there is one as well there. So
mm,
that's interesting. That was an interesting one. But I mean, yeah, it happens, but the good thing is that the team bounced back and they bailed him out. So he's bailed the team out so many times. So it's the least the team can do. Honestly, it's the least the team can do.
yeah, absolutely. All right. I guess that wraps up the lineups. Should we get into the predictions then? Call it a night.
Yeah, sure. If we have anyone in the comments, maybe we can just shout them out or read out their comments. Otherwise, we can just go through predictions.
Oh yeah, like Sunil was like mentioning like LMR, Farouk, Kama. I think that was when you were talking about, I don't know, like the midfield part. Don't change up too many things.
Yeah.
Okay, we also have a financial in the comments. She says, or he or she says, or he says, we have to focus on the UCL and the Copa del Rey. Like, that's true, man. We have all written off La Liga at this point. We were even talking about not starting most of our best players just so that we can remain a bit more fresher for the UCL. But it has its both pros and cons.
Wow. And that's honestly like that's a big thing. Like, just focusing on this will lead to much more, pain and disappointment when if you are not playing as good as you want to in the league, only
Yeah,
just to, play in this cup competitions and you still get knocked out of those competitions. I think it's gonna be a lot of, pain and morale crushing defeats, honestly. So as I said, like even if we want to do that, like how do we do that? Like do we just go to La Liga and refuse to play or just fill the academy kids? That's not gonna happen. And honestly, we don't have the personnel, as I said earlier, like to actually, rotate in and out, quite a huge number of players. Like here and there, we can change one, two people, but I think that's the best we can do, honestly. That's the best we can do.
yeah. And wait, Farooq, like what happened to that Apple TV TV series for the Real Madrid 14th UCL? Did that release already, or is it this Friday?
No, no, it's gonna be on Friday, on the 10th,
Uh,
March 10th. It's gonna be on
yeah,
Friday.
that's going to be something to look forward to, man. Yeah. Even if things are going so
Definitely,
bad,
man.
we
That
can still dream. Ah,
indeed, man. I think it's gonna be three episodes. I think three parts.
okay.
So it's something you can just sit and watch on a Sa- on a Saturday morning, and yeah, just before the game or right after the game, depending on how you roll.
Yep. All right. You want to give your predictions then first?
My man, I'm gonna go for a 4-1 victory, man. I want the goals. I know it's
Wow.
it's it's wishful thinking. I totally agree with that. It's wishful, and it's a very it's a thinking of what Some people might think I am high or drunk, something like that. Nah, and I am sane, but it's a wishful thinking. I know that, but I just really want that we should be back in the goals. Honestly, like I do want us to be back in the goals. Uh, I mean, yeah, we have Jose who is going to be a problem, and also like Braithwaite. Like those are people we have to contend with, fine and good.
Hmm.
But I feel like I do believe Karim Benzema should be back for the game. So I believe this should be a game where we will get back, on the right path, hopefully. Yeah, man.
Hopefully,
I
yeah.
just I predict a 4-1 and the usual lack of clean sheet, which would be the one goal we concede eventually.
I mean, we've been saying this preview after preview, maybe a 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. It just never happens, man. Like, I don't even see the point of like the predictions right now.
I mean, you have a valid point, honestly, but the thing is, a boy only can dream, man. We can only dream.
Yeah.
We
If
can
I want to
only dream,
dream,
my friend.
like I would. I would really be happy if he can score at least 2 goals. Honestly, just 1 goal won't cut it for me in this game. So yeah, I'm gonna be bold enough to say like we're gonna have a clean sheet because it might be a Nacho play and then he's gonna have a really good performance. So it's gonna be 2-0, my friend.
Okay then. If you're that confident, who am I to, remove the confidence of the clean sheet. The Lord and
Yeah.
Savior Nacho Fernandez, to bring back the clean sheets. Okay
So,
then. Okay. I hope Nacho is listening somewhere, or someone who knows Nacho, or someone who knows someone who knows Nacho should relay this message.
all right.
All our faith lies in him.
Yeah. All right. So any of the viewers who are still here, if you haven't subscribed, do hit the subscribe button because if you, especially if you enjoyed today's pod, there was a lot of interesting talking points, I would feel. And we do have the post match coming up as well. So do stay tuned for that. And if you can, please hit the like button as well. That really helps the algorithm and stuff, which helps us grow and bring out the quality content for you guys. We are also on all of the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram. Do give us a follow there. We also have our supporting family member, Real Madrid committee on Instagram. They have some really awesome Instagram content as well. Do give them a follow. And yeah, as we always say, Farooq, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.